Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sewing and Reaping YouTube channel. Uh, Shanny uploaded, what was it, about two or three videos. One of them, doesn't surprise me about her saying that. Actually, one of them did surprise me. But apparently, Red was in denial about some things. Nothing new there. Shanny in denial about some things. Nothing new there. But what did surprise me was that she finally started to address her weight and everything, and address some other issues. Now, Shanny, I'm making this video specifically for you. I'm not even gonna talk to Rev. I think I talked to him enough about this, but I want to talk directly to you, Shanny. You know, uh, and if somebody can do me a favor and let her know that I made this video and I would like a response to this, because I'm going to ask her a pretty serious question. Now, there are a lot of different kind of women that are out there in the world. All right. And these women have a certain taste for the kind of man that they want to be with. All right. Uh, these um, these women usually have standards. They want to know what a man can offer her, and things of that nature. Now, I'm not being ignorant by asking what I'm going to ask Shanny. I'm fully aware of the obvious that Rev used to be worth a certain amount of money or whatever. But I have a very serious question to ask Shanny. Now, there are some videos that exist on YouTube where Rev has openly stated that he would rather be homeless than get a job. He has said this on multiple occasions. My question for you, Shanny, is this: uh, Are you? How can I put this? My question for you is that are you aware that if that uncle throws you out of that house, that is precisely where you're going to be. You're going to be sleeping in the streets. Now, I thought about what she said on her channel over there on Instagram when she said that she needed to lose some of that weight. You know what I mean? I don't think it's got jack squat diddly to do with her health or anything like that. I think the reason why she wants to lose some of the weight is so that she can be able to stand and try to get a job and try to be able to do what Jason isn't going to do. And this is my thing, Shanny. All right. If the man doesn't want to work, if he's going to keep making excuses not to work, why are you literally the only woman on planet Earth that is willing to stay with a guy who would rather be on the street than get a job? Now, I grew up in a different household from you, Shanny. So I grew up differently than you. And that was beating my head over and over and over again that a man had to provide, that a man had to provide, that a man had to provide. I was told that since I was a little boy. That's why I kind of got the attitude that I got, and I come across as being sexist sometimes. Because I was told from a little boy that a man had to provide. I wasn't told nothing about no man and a woman had to go to work. I was told I had to go to work. I came from a different school. My thing is this: how can you continue to make excuses for Rev and stay with a guy who refuses to work? I'm very curious about that. You can get on here and you can talk about these content creators on here making videos about you. You can get on here and you can talk about your quote unquote haters and everything. But you are literally in a place with somebody who you are giving your body to, which I know you don't care too much about or whatever, but you're giving your body to this bum on a regular basis who refuses to work. All this mess about him working at Burger King and all that other stuff and whatnot, he never showed no proof that he was working. I mean, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he did work there for like a day or two. But clearly the man doesn't want to work. So why stay with him? I mean, honestly, what happened to the statement of, I don't want no scrub, a scrub gets no love from me sitting on the passenger side of a best friend's ride trying to holler at me? I mean, you're with somebody who's worse than a scrub. I mean, at least a scrub is sitting on the, the other side of the best friend's ride or whatever. You know what I mean? He doesn't even got that. His best friend is the dust that's inside that house because you won't allow him to have any friends. And this just blows my mind. You are literally, and I looked for someone else. I literally looked for someone else. I can't even find a bum on the street that is willing to give their body to somebody who, now, this is the key phrase now, who refuses to work. Who refuses to work. Not that they can't find a job, not that they keep putting in applications and nobody won't hire them or nothing like that, but who literally refuses to work. You are literally the dumbest female walking this planet, because I'm aware of some of these other people on here that Just Breezing and like Carrie talk about some of these other females that's on here, but I don't see them getting involved with somebody who don't want to get up and work, who refuses, who makes the open statement that I would rather sleep out in the street. And I don't even think Rev understands what he's saying. I really don't think Rev truly understands what it is that he's saying when he says stupid stuff like that. Like if he had to sleep out there now, it's pretty cold out there. And I think his attitude about working would change real fast. And so would yours, Shanny. If you had to lay on the concrete and get under a blanket and making YouTube videos while sleeping out in the street. Like, how did you get here, Shanny? How did you get here? I mean, I'm asking some really stupid questions right now, but I'm just gonna go along with it. You know, how did you get here where you're so desperate to be with any bum on the street that you're willing to be with a guy who refuses to work? He gets on here, he talks about he loves the Lord Jesus Christ and he's a Christian and all this other stuff. If the Bible condemns something in the scriptures, I'm gonna tell you what the Bible condemns. It condemns laziness. Every time that guy gets on here and refuses to go out there and try to find a job or whatever, or try to find some work or whatever, he shows that guy is full of it. Now, Shanny, I already know you're full of it. I know you ain't no believer. I just wish you would just come out and just say it. But what do you see in a man who hates you so much? Because it ain't love. Like, cut the baloney, okay? I don't even want to hear it from the audience. Let me tell you something. This man does not love you, all right? I made videos about that, not going into that again. But the point is, what do you see in a man who refuses to work? I have to know this. What do you see in a man who refuses to work? You defend Rev every single time you upload a video. What do you see in a person that doesn't want to work? You're the only female I can ask walking this planet because you're the only one doing it. I mean, somebody in the audience, if there's another girl out there who has openly said, I love a bum, and I love a guy who refuses, not that he can't get a job, not that he can't put in an application and people are rejecting him or whatnot, but literally refuses to work. Let me know who that person is. But as far as I know, because I looked before I made this video, Shanny is literally the only woman. And during a time where a lot of men don't want to get involved in relationships with women no more, and with the rise of MGTOW, right, and the rise of men finally standing and saying, we're not going to deal with this feministic nonsense anymore, you got this woman that claims to be a first-wave feminist who doesn't even act like it, to be perfectly honest. She's more of a insecure woman that likes to beat up men. That's what she is. She ain't no feminist. All right, but let's just go there and just give her flag. Okay, you're a first wave feminist. What does that say about you in your movement when you want to be involved with a guy who refuses to work? That's what I want to know. What does that say? Does it say that you're desperate? Does it say that you can't even go outside and find somebody eating out the garbage can? Because I'm gonna tell you something about the guy who's eating out the garbage can. At least he's willing to go outside and find some food. I mean, think about it. You think about the work ethic of Rev. Rev doesn't want to go to a church and pick up free food from a church. But I tell you about a bum on the street. A bum on the street will actually go to the nearest garbage can, and he will dig through the garbage can, and he will actually find some meat and find some potatoes and some leftover booger food or whatever, and will actually eat that and share that with another person with him. At least a bum on the street will do that. Give me a second here, guys, real quick. Hold on. Whereas, hold on a minute. Whereas Rev, all he wants to do is get up all day, and I guess he uses his phone to play blocks or something, or IQ games, or if you guys do have a little Switch or something like that left, or you have a game or something like that, you would rather do that than actually get off your behind and actually walk to a church or a food bank and actually go get some food. Now, this is about the time when they're going to get their food stamps, and they're going to be off of YouTube for about 14 to 15 days. And then when the food stamps are 14, 15 days, or maybe 20 days, and then they'll come back on here again, and they'll get on here begging, acting like they had nothing to eat again. Like nobody sees this pattern with them and whatnot, right? But the point is that I don't get how this woman can get up, look in the mirror and say, I got me a good man. My man is so awesome. My man's awesome because he refuses to work. And I'm almost embarrassed for her. Because if you go to, how can I put this without sounding, okay, if you go to an all black neighborhood, right? And I mean, go find the crackheads. Like, go find a woman who's got white powder on her nose or whatever, right? Or go find somebody who's addicted to heroin, or somebody who's an alcoholic or whatever, right? Not even them. They don't even want somebody who refuses to work. Now, there's a difference between a person who refuses to work versus a person who can't find work. That's not the same thing, okay? So, not even the person laying out on the street and sleeping on the sidewalk wants somebody who refuses to work. Because even that person's got to get up, pack up all their stuff, their cardboard box, get their dirty clothes or whatever it is that they got. And they got to actually find somewhere. They got to find a shelter. They got to go out there and beg for money. They got to do something so they can get some substance. These two don't even want to do that. They get on here and they give you some half-hearted effort talking about the presidency, some half-hearted effort, and then got the nerve to sit there and try to talk about the church. You don't know nothing about the church, Shanny, because A, you refuse to go, and then B, you refuse to go get the help that you would need. I'm sorry, the help that you can get from a church. You and your lazy man. And you want to know what's sad, Shanny? You knew this about him before all that money was gone. You knew this about him, but you insisted on being with him. Do you not see the stupid decisions that you have made that got you to where you are today? You can't blame me or anybody else who's a Christian. Let me remind you about this again, Shanny, and I'm going to do this over and over and over again. There is a method to my madness. Didn't I come there in person and offer to buy some food? You didn't want it, right? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? You literally have a church, I believe about a mile away from you. I believe about a mile from you, that will give you free food if you would just if you would just tell your man, because you say you're not physically able to do it. If you would tell your man to just put his pants on, use some energy to put his shirt on, put his belt on, and either drive that car he has, the hoopty that he has, or walk to this, or get bus fare from the uncle. Get the uncle to drive you there, for crying out loud. He has a vehicle. and go get food and then learn how to go in the kitchen and fry a bloody egg. You sitting over here begging for $40 to get food and everything and whatnot, right? I left a comment on Graveyard Flowers YouTube channel. And they were sitting there and they were talking about, and they was basically trying to manipulate people to get the money for Delta 8. Nothing new there and whatnot, right? So I said, do you realize that to get 1 pound of rice, and I believe if you go to Dollar General, not Dollar General, my bad. Actually, I think you could do it in Dollar General too, but I'm thinking more like Dollar Tree. But for $3, you can get a pound of rice and you can go get a pound of beans. That's why nobody wants to help you, Shanny. They know you're lying. They know you're lying. And it doesn't matter how you spin it. It doesn't matter how you redo it. The only people watching you right now are people who don't like you, and they're only pretending to like you. And I don't know who this Gucci Trolls is. Some people think it's you, Shanny, or whatever. But that is literally the only person in your entire chat that gives a hoot about anything that you got to say. So I'll bring this up again. What in God's green earth do you see in Rev? Because if you're going to stay with him, Shanny, I have to say this about you, and you're not going to like it. It's in the title of this video. I think you enjoy being in poverty. I'm looking at Chris. From what I understand with Chris, he's actually working. He doesn't make that much, but he's working. He has his own apartment, and he seems to be doing pretty good. And when he wants something, he goes out there and he spends the money that he works, and he actually gets what he wants. Like, I don't get it. Like, Shanny, if you would just stop pretending like you're hurt and actually put your clothes on and stop being lazy and actually walk outside, listen to me. Go to an all-black neighborhood. I'm pretty sure some black guy will be drunk or high as a kite. Somebody who's got a lot of powder in his nose, partially blind, somebody who's suffering from whatever, will see you and be like, yo, I got to get me some of that. And that person might actually be willing to work. That person might be actually willing to work. Give me a second here, guys. My phone went in sleep mode. I don't know why I did that. Okay. So, or you can go into Hispanic, and it's the same thing, you know, somebody who's partially blind, deaf, somebody with brain damage or whatever, or somebody who is missing some teeth or whatever. You'll be surprised the way people will lower their standards, and they'll see you and they'll take care of you. Better than Rev will. They got more value than Rev. Rev is a low value man. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're a low value woman because you literally have nothing. And when I say this, Shanny, I mean this in the nicest way possible. You have nothing to offer nobody. I mean, Shanny, how do you think you're going to get a man by getting on YouTube? I can't do nothing for you. If you get involved in a relationship with Shanny, you gotta wipe her butt. You gotta brush her teeth. You gotta wash under her arms. You gotta wash some thighs. You gotta wash those tree trunks she calls legs. You know what I mean? She's in so much debilitating pain. You're gonna have to deal with the verbal abuse, her beating you up. What the heck does Shanny even offer? But I'll say that for another day or whatever. I'm just trying to look at this through the eyes of Shanny. Aside from the fact that you got that Rev's got the uncle, that's really the only thing that he got left, right? Haven't you learned, Shanny, that it is better to just be like, let me just eat some humble pie and just admit that this man is a bum, that he's a bust. Okay, we spent all of our money on stupid stuff. I think it's about time I got away from him because he don't want to work. You knew he didn't want to work. You knew that man didn't want to work all the way back in Colorado. The man don't want to work now. If you continue to do the same stupid stuff that you've been doing over and over and over again, Shanny, you're eventually going to be sleeping outside. And that's exactly what a lot of us are waiting for before you finally understand what's going on. What, you're so concerned that that you don't want people to think that you wanted him for his money? Shanny, there is literally nothing. Rev can beat you up tomorrow, give you two black eyes, okay, give you an uppercut and break your jaw, and we're still gonna think you was only with him for the money. Okay? Rev can amputate one of your legs, and we're still gonna think that you are still that you was with him for the money. And all anybody got to do is go look at them crocodile tears that you were doing. Actually, I don't think they were crocodile tears. I think a lot of those were real tears through what you went through. I'm pretty sure a lot of those. And you was humble because you ain't have no money. And then look at what happened when you got a little bit of money. The real Shanny came out. Kind of like what you're doing right now. Pretending to be humble until you get a little bit of money in your pocket, get some Delta 8, get high, make a video so you got like a fool on social media for everybody, right? But Shanny, I want to know something, Shanny. I have to know this. What do you see in a man that refuses to work? What does he have to offer you besides the uncle? I mean, even as a female, listen to me. I've seen women way bigger than you do better than what you're doing right now. It's either you don't know how to play the game or you're just dumb. And some of the people here watching know precisely what I'm talking about. There are some women out there that's got some game, and they know how to get some people. Shanny apparently forgot how to do all of that or never had the ability to begin with. Kind of hard for me to say that considering Doug and Chris. I don't know how she got them. One of these days I gotta hear from Chris on how he met her and how she managed to marry him. I never heard that story. I gotta hear that story one day. What did she do to get Chris? What did she do to get Doug? And Rev getting on here saying, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. And Shanny getting on here saying, my husband, my husband, my husband. And y'all trying to break us up. Shanny, do you realize that if you continue with this guy, we're going to be calling you a hobo? People are going to be walking past you while you're sleeping on the concrete somewhere in, what's the name of that town you're in? And you're somewhere in Pennsylvania. I forgot the name of the town that you're in. Okay? I literally forgot. This is how much I think about her. But anyway, I forgot the town. What's the name of the town that they're in? Anyway, I forget. So, but the point is that you want other people on YouTube to believe that he is a good man. This is what cracks me up. Normally, I get on here and I feel sorry for Rev. I'm not feeling sorry for Rev. And I'm not feeling sorry for him in this particular video for this one point. As a man myself, as somebody that has to go out there and prove my value on a day-to-day basis, it's a person that's actually, see, I'm offended. I'm offended as a man because, now mind you, I'm using you as an example. I don't have a better example to use right now because this is a video about you, Shanny. Again, you're the only moron on earth. Listen to me. You got all these different countries. We got billions of people on the planet, and you are literally the only one that defends a bum who refuses to work. Not that he can't find a job, but he refuses to work. You are doing that, Shanny. And then you're boasting and bragging about this bum who refuses to get a job. Oh, because you think that if you leave, people are going to think you use them for you. There ain't nothing you can do to fix that, Shanny. Nothing. Nothing. I don't even think Red wants to be with you anymore. And I mean, eventually he'll find somebody locally to just drop you like a bad habit. Because if you don't leave him, he's going to leave you. One of you is going to leave the other. It's coming. At some point, y'all going to get tired of your stomach growling. At some point, that's going to be the case. Okay, so Shanny, since you condone men not working and not giving you one dime to help you out of your situation, can I recommend some people on YouTube who probably will put up with you for a couple of minutes and refuses to work and look a whole lot better than Rev and actually got some physical appearances or whatever. You know, at one point, Dragnet didn't want to work. Dragnet was just doing YouTube and doing and everybody lied and talk about how this guy was disabled. Yeah, right. The moment he graduated college, he went and got a job. He's so full of it, it's not even funny. I mean, you should think about that black dude with the glasses, the bald-headed black guy known as Dragnet. He don't like working. Why don't you go get him? Oh, that's right. He has somebody already. I believe there's a guy on here by the name of Tatted. You can try him. He doesn't like the work. There's a bunch of people on here that don't like to work. And some of them refuse to work. They refuse to go out there and go get a job. I don't remember Von Helton working anywhere. You should consider him. I mean, at least Von's got something coming in. I mean, you can do a lot better than JWE, who refuses to get up and get a job and take care of his so-called family. He's not the first person to lose his money the way he lost it, and he won't be the last one, because in my opinion, when we're talking about women like yourself, Shanny, there's a sucker born every single day. And he was a sucker for getting involved with you. I mean, I don't know why you just don't come out and just say it. Everybody knows it. There are news articles about you. I believe you was on the news too at one point. I keep going on Google and when I type in Shanny for Christ, these articles about the child abuse show up on Google. Then people were complaining to YouTube, but what are they gonna do about it? I mean, think about this, Shanny. Not only are you with a man that refuses to work, what do you see in child abusers? I mean, you're never going to get your kids back. I'm just going to listen to me. A lot of people won't say this to you, so I'm just going to be blunt about it. And I'm talking about Christians on here, right? A lot of them won't say this to you, but you ain't never going to get your kids back. Probably because you never wanted them to begin with, right? But tell me something. What is it like to be in love with a child abuser? What is it like to be in love with somebody that? How can I be a little bit more graphic without breaking terms of service? More graphic without breaking terms of service. Okay, Shanny, can you articulate to me, Shanny, what is it like to allow a man to enter you, to stimulate you, who took your babies away from you? And if Zachary ever sees this, and if William ever sees this, they both need to know that their mother never cared about them. Because if she did, she would have never allowed him to come back there. Or bare minimum, never got into another relationship with him again. Right? Not only does your man don't want to work, but your man's not man enough to deal with you the way he should. I posted something in my community post, Shanny, if you happen to see it. Because honestly and truthfully, if you ever did half the stuff you did to Rev to me, go to my community post. You'll see what will happen to her. Go to my community post. And I also, for people that didn't go to my community post and see it, I actually show a story of a gold digger admitting that the only reason she wanted to marry somebody was for their money. Go take a look at it. You can't tell me that that's not Shanny and Rev in that video. You can't tell me that's not them. You can't tell me that's not them. Now, Rev, you can go ahead and make a video and say if you want truth, then go to, don't listen to G-Man and all this other stuff and whatnot. But this is the thing that you can never take away from me, dude. This is the one thing that you can never take away from me. Okay? I know what the two of you are like in real time. I know how you plan your videos before you make them. I know the acting or the what do you call it? the rehearsals that you guys do and the acting that you do before you decide to go live. The only difference now is Shanny doesn't wear a wig and she doesn't pretend to be a goblin queen anymore. Like you can try that garbage maybe with one or two people on here who are gullible and don't know about it over there on Instagram. But when I'm talking from firsthand experience. Shanny really do see something in Rev. But I've always wondered, and I've asked her this, and I said, what do you see in a guy that refuses to work? Rev has been afforded so many opportunities that the average person will probably never see. I wish I had $750,000 sitting in some bank account or some stock or something like that. I would handle that situation totally different. And then some female came into my life and tried to get me to spend, talk about it's expensive to have a family. I'd have threw her and her family out. That's just how I am. Because I don't play that. I can spot a gold digger from actually now I can spot a gold digger from afar. Let me say it that way. Now I can spot a gold digger from afar because I've been educating myself on this whole female narcissist and gold diggers and all this other stuff. I got to give Sabella credit. At least Sabella's working. Sabella's not sitting on her butt just depending on Nick all the time. Bravo to Sabella. Let me give her a round of applause. Can't nobody take that away from her. At least she's willing to go work. Rev believes that if he doesn't work, he just makes a video and criticizes, the presidential candidates, that people are going to be like, oh, wow, let me just donate to them. Shanny, do me a favor, Shanny, when it pertains to the body of Christ and when it pertains to Christians on social media, I would appreciate it if you stop criticizing the church. It is not the church's fault that you refuse. I'm sorry, first and foremost, that you don't get on your man about providing for you. If you're going to be with him, at least for crying out loud, tell him to go get a job. And if he don't, drop him like any other sane female. Well, you ain't sane, but drop him and find somebody who's willing to take care of you. Ain't nobody going to want me. Listen, there's a lot of crackheads out there that'll take care of you. There's a lot of crackheads out there. I mean, you're still young. That's probably the only thing that you really can bring to the table is the fact that you're young. That's about it. You ain't got nothing else to bring to the table. There's a lot of 60 and 70-year-old crackheads that would love to have somebody as young as yourself. I don't think they mind changing your diaper and burping you and doing all the other stuff because you can't do anything. You can't do dishes, you can't sweep, you can't mop. You can barely have a conversation because your invisible Google told you to get a lot of sleep. And Google, who you call your therapist, is the one that's telling you how to, interact when you're in your house because you don't have a therapist. You don't go to the doctor. For those of you who don't know this about Shanny, Shanny's actually against going to the doctor. Shanny's one of these self diagnosis people. Shanny don't go to no doctor unless she absolutely, positively has to do it. So I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this again and again and again and again. I'm gonna ask this again too. Shanny, what do you see in a guy who don't want to work? I mean, you're not that dumb. I mean, you're smart enough to get on here and conjure up a scam to lie to people about you having cancer. Rev's not that smart, right? I mean, you're smart enough to get on here and pretend like somebody violated you when they never did it. I mean, at least you could conjure up some fake tears. Rev ain't smart enough to do none of that. At least when you lie, you don't have to keep looking to the left every 2 seconds to get Rev's approval about everything. I mean, you tricked me pretty good. You ain't tricked nobody else, but you tricked me. Well, you tricked Rev too, acting like you was a caring woman and all that other stuff. But regardless if you agree or disagree with me, Shanny, what do you see in the man that don't want to work? That's all I want to know. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. Carrie, she knows no one else will wipe her bottom. $700,000. You're right about that. $700,000 gone. Somebody says, G-Man, when are you going to be honest with yourself and your community? This must be a Shanny account here. Let's see, G-Man, when are you going to be honest with yourself and your community that you love Shanny and you want to save her? Asking for a friend. Here's the thing with Shanny. I would love to see Shanny repent. I would love to see her repent and get right with Jesus. And that's about as far as that goes. I have no romantic interest in Shanny whatsoever. Once a woman reveals herself as being a gold digger and doing the hideous things that she did to Rev and being a narcissist and all of that, nah, I'm good. I'm good. And she already played me and lied to me on multiple occasions. And I'll tell you this though, but I'll get Shanny this. At least she was a little bit more honest with me when they were living in a house than Rev was. Rev really had me thinking all he needed was a job. Like a lot of you wasn't there. Y'all was not there. This man said, "Gee, I don't care if it's picking up poop with rubber gloves. I don't care if it's a garbage truck job. I need to provide for my family. I'll take any job." And then you find the guy not one but two, and he won't even take it. He don't want to do it. He would rather William do the job. And Shanny knows I'm telling the truth about that. When Shanny destroyed half this man, well, not half, but he destroyed a lot of his rare video game collection that he had over not wanting to work. But she's so in love. She's so in love with a man who don't want to work. Those are the kind of men that Shanny like. She likes men who don't like to work. And Shanny, that's your reputation. And this is something that you got to understand, Shanny. This is what you got to understand. Your reputation right now is that you are a gold digger and you love men who don't want to work. You love child abusers. And when I say love, I mean you find them sexy. You find them attractive. You like the way they walk. Their behind turns you on. It makes you want to just jump on them like a cougar or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what you like, Shanny. You love a good child abuser. You love a good man who beats up your children. That's what you like, Shanny. You can't put me and you in the same conversation, but that's what you like, Shanny. When are you going to drop Rev like a bad habit? And Shanny, I'm telling you, if you do it, take my advice. Watch how fast Mr. No Self-Esteem tries to go out there and find a job. Watch how fast Mr. No Self-Esteem will go out there and go find a job. And keep it this time. You keep threatening him with some verbal, I'm going to break up with you, I'm going to break up with you, I'm going to break up with you. Nobody afraid of that verbal nonsense. Every woman on this planet knows that if you want to get your point across, drop him like a bad habit. Drop him like a bad habit. Neither one of them know what it is like to have the fear of God put in their hearts. Neither one of them knows what it's like. But don't worry, Shanny, you're in a big rush to meet your creator, saying that, you're going to die and you want to be with Jesus. Tell me something, Shanny. You can't even deal with a human being criticizing you. What are you going to, like honestly, Shanny, do you really believe that God's going to smoke a blunt with you in heaven? Do you know how dumb you sound when you two are saying that kind of dumb stuff? God is not going to be smoking a blunt with you in heaven. He is not going to get high with you in heaven. That's not going to happen. That is witchcraft. He's not going to do that with you. You and Rev are going to be thrown alive into the lake of fire with the devil and his angels if you don't repent. First off, you need to start taking your life more seriously. Stop lying to everybody about this debilitating pain that you're going through. And then drop that bum and do something with your life. Listen to me, Shanny. If Rev wants to sleep on the street, let him sleep on the street by himself. You ain't got to do that with him. But I got a feeling that you are one of them dumb females that'd be like, you want to know what? At least I got my Revy poo. We can both sleep in 0-degree weather outside. You know what I mean? And we'll find a way to make it through. And you ain't getting divorced because that's not your husband. That's your boyfriend that you two are sleeping outside of wedlock with. Common law marriage. You two don't even know what common law marriage is or how it works. You show me God endorsing common law marriage in scripture. Just show me it, Rev. You know the Bible so well. Why don't you feel the leather on your Bible, close your eyes, and imagine the Bible verse because it doesn't exist. Rev, you're an embarrassment to us men out here in society. You're an embarrassment, dude. I kind of wish I can talk a certain way, but I gotta watch my tongue when I get on here and talk. Because I'm actually being held accountable by some people. But here's the thing. I can't refer to you as a man, Rev. I have to refer to you as a little boy because you can't take care of yourself. And you can't take care of yourself. That means you can't take care of Shanny. If you can't take care of Shanny, you can't take care of yourself. Shanny ain't never getting them boys back. It ain't never gonna happen. And Shanny, if your dumb behind actually believes that when those two turn 18 or 20 or whatever, that they're gonna come over there and work and give you their entire paychecks, woman, you've never been in the workforce before. You don't know the wear and tear it does on your body. That ain't gonna last long if they try doing it. Mark my words. Too lazy to apply for Social Security. Think about this, Shanny. Rev is so lazy he won't apply for welfare. He won't apply for Social Security. He won't apply for housing. He won't try to get any kind of income coming in. He's hoping his uncle's going to let you guys live there forever, and you two never have to get up and move anymore. I want you to think about that, Shanny. You thought you was going to live forever in my house, and you saw what eventually happened. What do you think is eventually going to happen to you two living in Rev's uncle's house? What do you think is eventually going to happen? Well, he would never. Yeah, you've been wrong before, Shanny. And every time you're wrong, you end up suffering. So stop depending on luck. Drop Rev. Stop with the act with your bones hurting and all this other stuff, and go get a job while you still can. Or bare minimum, tell that bum to get out your way, put your clothes on, and go apply for assistance. I told you this in person. I told you this right to your face. I said, you're a single mother and you're homeless. Do you understand how fast you would get assistance? Because if you're waiting for some secret money to pop up with Rev, it ain't going to happen. Because if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. And guess what else your new reputation is going to be, Shanny? Not only are you are madly in love to men to men who refuse to work. Not only are you madly in love with child abusers, but you want to know what's sick? You want to know what's really sick? You're also madly in love with men that you can starve. Notice I said you. You are madly in love with men you can starve. You told everybody you gained 30 pounds. Why don't you have Rev stand on the scale and show everybody how much he weighs? What all 100 pounds of him? Wasting away, making excuses for you. I would make a video telling Rev to dump you, but Rev is just as dumb as you are. Rev loves wiping your butt. I think he loves the smell of fecal matter in the morning. I think he loves the urine that's all over those couches. I think he loves that stuff. Turns him on, you know? Gives him a boner to smell your urine and your fecal matter all over the couches. I wish I can burp because that would have been a perfect time to imitate Rev. And while he's smelling the fecal matter and the urine, he'll sit there and talk about, you know, Jesus this and Jesus that, ignoring all of the scriptures about cleanliness and all of that, and not being unclean, ignoring holiness and all that other stuff. Ignoring all of the passages of scripture that talks about poverty, which Shanny absolutely adores. She loves it. She prayed for it and she got it. She got her poverty. She loves being poor. She loves struggling. She loves not having nothing. So does Rev. Because here's the thing, in Christianity, when you love something, you keep doing it. You pursue it. You do nothing to change to make sure you stay in it. If Rev hated living like a bum, like he said, if Rev hated not having any money coming in, don't you think this guy would do everything in his mama to try to get some money in his pocket? Shanny, there's something else I want to tell you too, okay? I think by now you understand that you're not some celebrity, okay? I believe you had maybe 12 people watching you on Instagram. That is not celebrity, okay? Celebrity, I guess the way you thought about it is when you were getting what, 300, 400, 500 people watching you live. I think at one time you peaked, you went a little bit more than 500 people when you went live a couple of times. I believe you had 1,000 people watching you at one point. 1,000 people watching you. Now you dropped to 12 on Instagram. But that's because they kept flagging down our channels and stopping me from making a coin. Wait a minute, Shanny. Wait a minute. You know that YouTube has rules. You know that Rumble has rules. You know these channels, you know these other platforms have rules, and you got to follow those rules if you want to keep your channel up. We both know that, right? And yeah, you got me all emotional when he took on your channel that one time when we was all in the house together. And I didn't know what you was doing on there. I didn't know what was going on. See, there's a lot of things about you, Shanny, that I know about you that I didn't know. And I'm talking about all the way back to the Great Debate days. I didn't know that the only reason that you're that you even cared about Rev, you kept saying you was watching his videos and all this other stuff. No, you wasn't. And by the way, let me present Exhibit A for why I know Shanny didn't give a hoot about Rev during that time. Rev was a truther. Okay, Rev was a truther. Okay, and Rev talked about politics and Christianity. Shanny don't agree with none of that. She hates Alex Jones. How you want to sit there and talk about you to watch that channel and agree with everything that he said? Rev is literally the only truther in YouTube history that went from a representative republic to becoming a communist. I've never seen nothing like this before a day in my life. And the way he's talking about ex-President Trump, oh, he's a terrible person. He's a terrible person. You know, Biden isn't all that perfect himself. And I found it kind of ironic, Rev, that you refused to talk about Biden's history. Yeah, you remember when Trump did this and Trump did that. But I guess you forgot all the racial slurs. Oh, I forgot. That's right. One racist to another, right? Forgot all the racial slurs that came out of Biden's mouth. But you remember everything that Donald Trump did or said, apparently. And the only reason you even seeing this mess, because you were trying to do everything in your power to make sure that that woman don't leave you. Rev, prove she agreed with everything that was said on Revelation News back when you had your 16,000 subscribers. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it. I didn't know. The only reason she gave a hoot about you was on the day your mother died. And I'm talking about on the day your mother died. I didn't know this about you, Rev. I'm sorry, Shanny, I didn't know this about you, but on the day this man's mother died, all of a sudden, you're this attractive person when you get on YouTube because you have a history of getting on here blurting out your personal life and whatnot, right? All of a sudden, when you know you're going to inherit all this money, this so-called married woman called Shannon Dornbush on here decides that she wants to get with you. But of course, try to tell that to Rev. Good luck with that one. If somebody can actually get their hands on that audio when this happened and actually show this to Rev, I think that would be a game changer. Although, who knows? Rev might still want to stay with her because he's pathetic. But Shanny, you're pathetic too. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, you like guys who don't work. If somebody ever throws acid into my eyes, if somebody ever decides to, and I can't see, and both my legs are broken and both my arms are broken, and it is absolutely impossible for me to work, I might be like, yo, let me go check out Shannon because, she loves guys who don't want to work. That'd be my sole motivation. Can't wipe your butt because I ain't got no hands. You would still take me. Yeah, Shannon, that's mean, but guess what? It's the truth about you, though. It's the truth. You support child abusers. Shanny, don't say you don't because you do, because you sleep with one every day, okay? You support child abusers. You support men that don't work because you ain't no feminist. You're a joke, all right? You ain't no feminist. Not only do you support child abusers, not only do you support men who don't work, but you are looking forward to sleeping outside and sleeping on the street. Because that's your destiny. Keep talking about you're speaking for God and God speaks through you and your enemies this, your enemies that. I'm still waiting for God to smite me for you. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, honey. That ain't gonna happen. And if something happened to me, it won't be the Lord doing it to me. Because everything I'm saying right now is truth about you. As a narcissist, you need that pride of yours to be pulverized, powderized, disintegrated, destroyed, so that you can repent and acknowledge the real Jesus Christ, not that hippie that you talk about on your channel. You don't turn Jesus into a crackhead on your channel. Where you think you're going to go to heaven, you're going to smoke a blunt with him. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus for that, Shanny. I rebuke you. My God is holy, and he will not tolerate sin in his presence. You used to say that, Shanny. Then you decided to worship that green leaf that grows in the ground that gives you the ability to get you high. So if there's any now listen, I always got to open myself up to the possibility that I could be wrong. If there's any other ladies out there that like men who, now here's the thing, I'm not talking about somebody who can't find work. That's different, very different. There's a lady out there in the chat who loves a guy who refuses to work when there's nothing wrong with him and he's able-bodied and he can actually physically go out there and work. Listen to me. There are people out there that will pay this man to do nothing. Listen to me, guys. For the people that are donating to him, y'all need to hear this. There are people that will pay this man $10 an hour, $12 an hour. Listen to me, $16 an hour to do nothing but hold a bloody ladder while a construction worker climbs it. There are people that will pay this loser $16 an hour to run back and forth to a van and get tools. Red, you know how much Delta 8 you can get with that? You moron. Anyway, so there are people out there, Red, that will give you $20 an hour to paint their walls. To paint! But instead of doing all of that, you get happy about getting on YouTube and staying on here for 3 to 4 to 5 hours to get a pizza. When you could use that 5 hours to make $100+ working for somebody. Rev, have you ever thought about becoming an indentured servant? You won't even do that. You don't want to be well, actually, you know what? You're not qualified to be a babysitter. Nobody should have you around their kids. But I think you'll make a pretty good a pretty good person in the field where you can go out there and you can pick weeds. You know? Yeah, I'm being disrespectful, Rev. You want to know why? Because you ain't got no excuse. You can work by yourself where your temper won't even be an issue, but you're too lazy to go out there and try to find a job. I'm not even letting you blame Shanny for everything no more. There is literally, in 2024, you literally have no excuse to say that you can't find absolutely nothing. And I mean absolutely nothing. Do you know how many dirty jobs out there that nobody want to go out there and do? I don't think you're aware of how many different things that you can do in society where you can make some decent money in the United States. See, Rev, I know you and Shanny are entertaining going to Jamaica. I don't think you understand. Jamaica's worse. You get about 50 US a week if you go to Jamaica. And if you don't work, you won't be eating nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. You'll be eating grass. That's about it. They don't play that lazy mess over there. If you go to Europe with that attitude, you in trouble, bro. You're lucky you're pulling that in this welfare state called the United States. But don't worry, that's about to change too. You would rather sell your soul and sell what little dignity that you have left to get over here. Hey guys, you know, Shanny's not feeling really well. I don't need to eat. I don't need to drink. I don't need no vitamins. Scurvy is perfectly okay for me. I don't care about my gums bleeding and all these bruises all over my body. Help Shanny. Who cares about me? That's your man, Shanny. That's the one that you're trying to stop women from taking from you. Nobody wants your bum. I don't know. Maybe I should learn how to say that in Spanish. Because you know, no matter how many times you say that in English, I don't think Shanny gets it. Shanny, nobody wants your bum. Shanny, when he had 750,000 and he was an alcoholic, a lot of people didn't want him. Why do you think he was having sex with a blow-up doll? Think about it a minute, Shanny. McFly! Your man was having sex with a blow-up doll before he got with you. And he was almost a millionaire. Think about that a minute, Shanny. Anyway, what are you guys saying in the chat? Let me see. Auntie social media. That's where it is. Yo, Draven, if you got that audio, man, I'm telling you, get that audio to Rev. I would love to see how he responds to that. I would love to see how he responds to that. Shanny only wanted that cat for his money. The Shanny's mother tried to warn him. Shanny's father tried to warn him. Shanny kept him away from all of his friends. And when I say his friends, let me tell you about who was his friends before G-Man came into the picture. It was the Holy Spackle. It was, wait a minute, hold on a minute. Who, I know Holy Spackle was one of them, and there was a couple of other people back from the Great Debate days that legitimately cared about him. He got involved with Shanny, and all of a sudden it was about how much money that Shanny had and how Shanny's getting spoiled. Didn't care about how fast the money was going because she thought she was going to get the G-Man and thought I was stupid. Shanny, you have said on multiple occasions that you said that you always knew I was an idiot. You said this, Shanny. There's audio out there where you saying that you always knew I was an idiot. If I'm so much of an idiot, why couldn't you get me? If I'm so much of an idiot, Shanny, why couldn't you get me? Oh, I know why. Because I told you that you had to move out of your mother's house and you had to get a job. See, Shanny, you want to know why I can be this blunt with you? I can't speak for nobody else watching this because I don't know about their life or whatever. Do you want to know why I can talk to you like this? Because you act like you're going through something special or whatever, or you're going through something unique that nobody else has been through. I've been through this nonsense over and over and over and over again. I know what it's like to be poor, and I know what it's like to be impoverished. I also know if you want to stop going through all of that, you got to get up your behind, go to these churches and go get some food, and you got to look for some job opportunities. Because if you don't, you are going to be sleeping outside. Because even the homeless shelters are going to require you to do a little work here and there, like actually getting up and walking. Rev's car must be looking really comfortable right now. That's your destiny if you choose to stay with that bum. Drop him like that. He wasn't smart enough to leave you. Drop him, get your life together, and stay off of social media. You ain't got no career here no more. You're beaten, done, defeated by the Dragoons and by Carrie. You're beaten. You ain't never coming back. Period. Somebody's got to say this to you. I think you got somebody in your life filling your head up with a whole bunch of nonsense, and I think his name is Jason. You better recognize, and I'm warning you, Shanny. I'm warning you. You are one argument away from Rev's uncle. We're a financial catastrophe away from you sleeping on the street. Because when I say that you two don't know nobody, y'all don't know nobody. You are screwed. Anyway, I wanted to make this video. I don't want to keep going on and on and on. I got my chronicles of Shanny when we look at the text messages and all that other stuff that they were sending to me and whatnot. Very similar to some of these other people that they were using. They have this pattern that they think that if they become your friends, that means they can constantly ask you for money every other day. And they don't got to get off their behinds and do nothing for themselves. Listen to me. As a Christian, this is really hard for me to say this because I know what it says in Matthew 25. About the sheep and the goats. I know what it says about that. But I implore all Christians to not give them a dime until one of them get a job. Keep that job and maintain that job. Do not give them a dime. Stop bailing them out. They won't starve. Trust me, one of them will get up and do something. Shanny can go on a forced fast for about 60 to 90 to 120 days, and she'll be just fine. That woman's got more stored up calories than a lot of the people in that town. Matter of fact, maybe the most in that entire town. You're laying on the bed and you gaining 30. Shanny, shut up. Like, honestly, get real. Drop the bum, do something with your life. If you're not, then the next time you make your little video claiming that you're in pain, you got cancer and all of that, and Drader calls the police or the FBI, or one of these guys called the FBI and tell them that you're scamming people on the internet, and you end up in prison, that's going to be, actually, you know what, Shanny, that ain't a bad idea. Now that I think about it, because at least in prison, you get 3 square meals every day. You'll become somebody's prison wife. So will Rev. But I mean, look at it like this. You know what I mean? You got a roof over your head. You get 3 square meals. You got electricity. You won't be on social media no more. And you might have visitors from the Dragoons coming over there, rubbing it in your face that you're locked up. Because the rate the rate that you two are going, that is precisely what's going to happen to you. You two believe in a fictional Jesus, okay? That you guys think is in heaven. That's going to be smoking a blunt with you. And it's going to be smoking weed with you for all of eternity. I'm sorry, Shanny. That's considered witchcraft, and that's not going to happen. You worship another Jesus instead of the true Jesus. Your Jesus looks like a leaf. My God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of the end, the only begotten Son of God. And if you were a Christian, you wouldn't be begging for food on YouTube. Anyway, you guys take care. I had to get this off my chest. I am getting tired. Indictment on the church. Let me try to make y'all feel guilty. No, 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 no. Nobody's stopping you from going to a food bank. Nobody's stopping you from going to a food bank. Get up off your lazy behind, go to a food bank like all of us, like the rest of us got to do when we ain't got nothing. And then go to your kitchen and cook. And stop lying to everybody about this debilitating pain. Because if you wasn't paying, you wouldn't be making videos, you liar. Like I said, the last time I saw you guys in person, Jenny, you moved around like a bunny. You moved around like a cat. But you want everybody on here to believe. You didn't even think to even sell your pain when I came over there. You're so full of it, it's not even funny. The only thing that was true is that your glasses are broken. That's about it. That's literally the, oh, I'm sorry, no, two things. Your glasses are broken and you're walking around in that curtain. That's about it. That you call a dress or whatever, or a shirt or whatever. Which was disgusting. That's the way that a diva dresses who don't want no scrub. You want to come out of the judgment of God, Shanny, you have to admit that you're in judgment, and you got to go get a job. And at some point, you got to apologize to this community for all the scams that you attempted to do here on social media. At some point, you got to do that. If you don't, please stop begging, because you're going to keep getting the same answer. You're going to block people who you want to donate to you. You are the dumbest YouTuber in history. Anyway, guys, you guys have a good one. And if whoever can find that audio or a witness to the person who saw Shanny only be interested in this man because he had money, it might wake Rev. There's about a 3% chance that Rev might grow an IQ and actually drop her. There's a 3% chance it might happen. Don't hold your breath. Rev will take any smelly thing he can get his hands on. And Rev, you don't like me talking like this, Rev? All I ask you to do with receipts, prove that I'm lying. Just for once in your pathetic life, show some receipts and show me how I'm lying. If you can't do that, shut your mouth about the church. Period. Shut your mouth. You don't get to talk about nobody in Christendom if you can't provide any proof for it. Anyway, you guys take care.